Well, hello everybody and welcome back. Things are a little drier here on the farm than the last episode. Definitely better off in that regard. We're gonna check here. Okay, auto load is on, and so we have two main jobs. These are not going to be surprising to anybody who's been watching the series. The first job is to get this straw all handled, and then the next job is going to be to put some silage up. We got about half of the field behind us there, the hay field, if you will. We got about half of that done. Uh, what I would love to do, and I don't think we have the time to do all three jobs, but what I would love to do is then extend this field. If we had enough time to get this straw baled, the silage in, and this field extended, that would be amazing. But I think that's probably more realistically going to be for the next episode, or even 2 episodes from now, depending. It's really hard to estimate how long jobs are going to take, so I've learned not to stress about it. Just play the game and try to get things done in as timely a fashion as possible. And I would have finished this in the last episode, but the rain was coming down pretty hard. Um, and if anybody's frustrated or whatever that I'm doing this job on the same day, remember that one day is 1 month in FS. So think of this as we waited a few days for it to dry, and now we're doing this job. And if your immersion is really that ruined and you're that upset, I apologize and hope you'll bear with the series and understand that it is a simulation, it's an approximation, it's not the real thing. I do the best I can with the resources made available to me, but it's a pretty cool looking setup. Actually, let's that'll be an interesting thumbnail. I don't know if people would like that or not, but it's been my experience that people click more when it's just a tractor. So we'll see. But I've done this tractor in a thumbnail several times, so I was thinking about maybe doing the 86 for this video. But I hope everybody had a good holiday. I think this will be coming out a little bit after Thanksgiving, but I'm recording it over the Thanksgiving break, and hope everybody enjoyed that. And if you're watching this, months later, thank you so much for being willing to give content a chance that is being recommended to you later. I know sometimes people won't do that, so appreciate you. I'm really enjoying this farm. If you can't tell, Calmlands is a map that is kind of wide open. It's open to the imagination. There's no specific, there's no built farm. This is all what we have built in whatever, probably 13, 14 hours worth of gameplay, somewhere around there. We put in all these fields, and we've done a fair bit of work on this save. We built the barn. We put in 2 smaller pastures for dairy cows. So we've got some Holstein cows here, and it's been a lot of fun. And I definitely plan on keeping on going. Down on the other side of the cows that you can see there in the lower field, we have soybeans in. Across the road we have corn and sunflowers ready to go, along with some beef cows that, thanks to a vote from our viewers, we are actually going to be switching out the beef cows in favor of having our own calves and heifers over there. So once these full-grown cows have calves, which should be soon, another couple months, we should have some new calves, and I will load them up in a trailer and take them over to the other farm, and we will get rid of the beef cows. So I'm looking forward to that. I thought that was a neat idea. The original kind of lore that I had for that farm over there was that it was the neighbor's farm, because they have their own house and outbuilding and everything. It was the neighbor's farm, and we were just leasing the ground or something along those lines. The issue was that I didn't want the map to just be like, this wide open green expanse and then my farm as it tears up. I wanted to have a little bit of a mixture, and have it feel lived in. One thing I still kind of want to do, and I don't even know if I've mentioned this in a video yet, or if it was just something that I thought about, but I was thinking it would be cool to put a shop in. I know there's a shop up in the town up there, but I thought it might be cool to have a shop that we could, I don't really role play, but we could pretend belong to, a neighbor, that we would give him our business rather than just go up to the same old shop all the time. A bunch of our equipment will be ready for repair here soonish. I don't know if I'll do like annual winter repairs on some of the vehicles. Something like that could be kind of neat. Or if I'll just standard keep an eye on the wear and tear and take them in when they need it. Sorry if you're sick of me working with the same tractor. I know I've used it on several jobs now, but one thing, I like it. And for another thing, it's probably our most consistent driving tractor. It doesn't have issues with shifting gears, and it doesn't have any problems with any of the horsepower wise. It handles pretty much everything on the farm, so that's a big reason why. Also, we could pretend like we did it on purpose and say we wanted to bail with the cab because we don't want all that straw dust down the back of our neck. So, also wondering if I might want to widen this field. I know I talked about lengthening it, but I might make it a little bit wider as well. We'll see. Alrighty, that's a good piece of work there. We can toss those straw bales in later. But if you were here for the early part of the series, then this setup will be very familiar. I'm going to go ahead and run it again, just for old time's sake. For some reason, this blower, or whatever you want to call it, really throttles up even before we're doing any work with it. It's like the only piece of equipment that does that. How do we do? Come on, that's a pretty good backing up job. Look at that. Okay, so we want to come over to... I left the H in the way. I'm gonna need this. If I make that into hay, I'm gonna need this again. So I'll just maybe put it over here by the straw field. Not really a straw field, you know what I mean, by the grain field. Yeah, let's get this going down the field, and then we can do our picture V, and I need to unfold the header. Sure. Now we should be good. Okay. It's down, it's feeding, and the grass is coming in. Good. at 3 miles an hour. I will see you guys in 2025. Just kidding. Sorry about that. What I meant was that. Okay, here we go. This feels good. If we get 5,000 liters on every swath, which it won't be exactly that, but you know, roughly 5,000 liters on every swath, we're looking at a good 60, 70,000 liters in this half of the field. We will most definitely take that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and not do the headland because of the hill. Just doesn't seem to like it too much. I know you have to suspend disbelief a little bit because of how long that neck is on there. Obviously, we would want a shorter neck or no roof on the forge wagon, but beggars can't be choosers when it comes to old school farm sim gaming. You have to. We got the spirit of the thing done right. Here's a question for the real farmers out there. For this job, would you use a regular mower and windrow it like I did, or would you use like a hay bind? Because I'm pretty sure the farm that I helped on years and years ago, I'm pretty sure they used a hay bind to make swaths and then came through with this and picked it up. But I might just be confusing two different jobs, like cutting hay and then doing this. Because sometimes these have cutters on them, right? Don't they sometimes have like their own sickle bar across the front? Like they have teeth that cut the grass and then tines that throw it back? I don't know. I could be, like I said, totally misremembering. It was a long time ago. I was a kid and I am no longer a kid. And you know how hard it is to pay attention to details like that when you're a kid anyways. Alright, this should fill us up and we can go put this load in the silo. Well, I'll tell you what, if we get all this silage put up, we got all that straw, we're gonna be in good shape on cattle feed for a bit. Alright, we're at 20,000 liters. I think what I'm gonna do is drop that. Drop that. Crop's looking nice over here. Got the sunflowers there. The corn here, knee high by the 4th of July. Looking good there. Head down the driveway. I think this little patch over here turned into hay will be a nice balance. Okay, so we want to swing around here. And this is where we pick up the silage. But on this side is where we drop off the grass. And if you watch some of the earlier episodes, then you've seen me do this many, many times. But it's a major job on a dairy farm, so I'm not gonna I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to not include something that's this important. I can give you some different camera angles, I guess, but at the end of the day, this is a big part of what we do. Um, Hopefully, you like the layout here of the farm and the design that I have. One of my favorite things about playing this game is just, you know, fire up a map and you take a look around and you say, okay, let's take that piece of land and do something with it. And there's so much creativity involved. You know, I knew that I wanted to do a custom dairy farm, and then, you know, kind of figuring things out. Like, the immediate question a lot of people would have, I'm sure, is where do you milk the cows? You know, we've got them out in the field, but we don't have proper milking set up. Maybe a better way to do this would be if we could have like a basement, you know, below this part of the barn, where that would be where the cows walk in and get milked, or have a milking station out back. I mean, can you imagine trying to wrangle 40 cows for milking if they don't have stanchions that they, you know, walk into and learn on their own? That would be hectic. So the fact that this barn is acting as our bale storage, as well as kind of the pretend cattle, you know, maybe I should put all the bales on the left side and I could say that the right side is for milking. I don't know, it still wouldn't be enough room for 40 cows. Probably wouldn't even hold 20 if I think too hard about it. I think we want to come up. I think we want to come up here. This this thing hates. I mean, it absolutely just bogs this tractor down, and I don't know why. It does it with all the tractors, though. It's a feature, not a bug, I think, with this particular implement. Alright, so we want to go... Sometimes I have to think out loud when I back stuff up. I apologize for all the real good farmers out there that can do this in real life in their sleep, but... Okay, so... we should be already lowered down. Yeah, there we go. Back at it. Now, I know another big part of farming that you don't really do on this game unless you run a whole bunch of different mods is the thought about what kind of things your cows would be eating. So, like, I would assume that meadow grass, whatever this kind of wild grass, would be fine, but you would also want to mix in clover and alfalfa and some other stuff. I think if I was in charge, you know, if Giants hired me, which I haven't applied, but if they hired me, I think that would be what I would add for the next game. I would have an additional setting that's beyond the three kind of base level difficulties, and I would incorporate precision farming and some of the things with the soil quality, and I would do that amount of depth with animal care. So I think having different types of feed, it would be really important and would improve the game quite a great deal. I know that there are lots of different ways that people feed their animals based on kind of part of the country and or the world, really. Farm Sim has a global community. So TMR is one way to feed cows, but like there's no corn-based feed, which some places in the world use a lot of corn-based feed. Um, like pigs, you can keep them alive feeding them basically anything in the game, but there are all sorts of alternative pig feed things that you could bring in. I mean, just imagine if they brought 4 or 5 types of hay, for example, which I know there have been some mods that have done this, but I'm saying bring it into the main game. So then we could say, oh, we have, one alfalfa field and one clover field, and we're going to grow corn for corn silage, and we're going to layer it in the silo. I mean, maybe that'd be a little bit overkill, but at very least, having some additional feed types would, I think, enrich the experience for the more hardcore crowd. But again, that's sort of a game design question. Do you want to cater to your more hardcore players, or do you want to make it as accessible as it could possibly be for more of a general gaming audience? I've talked about this years ago. I don't think I've said anything about it on this series, but I would love to see Farm Sim. I know they have the Farm Sim League, but I would love to see more of a communal market for Farming Simulator that has a bit of a kind of like a competitive edge to it. So instead of FS League, where it kind of feels like a different, almost like a sporting event, I think it would be really neat if they had, come on, stuck in 2 miles an hour. Won't do anything in second gear. Oh, there it goes. I think it'd be really neat if they had some sort of thing where you're like, you can join a server, almost like competitive multiplayer that some people have done, where you can join a server and maybe you can only log in a certain number of hours in a day, or some limiter so people couldn't just spam it, but allow kind of market competition within the tools that Farm Sim provides. I think that would be a really fun way to play the game. Some people would be like, all right, I'm going to do potatoes and I'm going to lease the harvester. Why is this not going in? We just lost like 1,000 liters because it stopped working. All right, well, that's unfortunate. I'm glad it only did it at the very end. If the machine was broken, that would upset me a great deal. Okay. Alright, well, I think I'm going to leave that job right here. You guys get the idea. I'll finish that up either off screen or the beginning of the next episode. But I want to... I feel like this tractor would be good for a bit of plowing work. It should be plenty of horsepower for the job. If not, we can use the 5833. Is that right? 50. I get this number on this tractor wrong all the time. 5088. Not, yeah, 5088. I was close. And this one's a 1566. So I want to take this down to the tree line. I don't know if I want to. I probably don't want to make it wider. That seems like too much work. But we do want to go like this. We'll just stick with that little tree right there. I don't want to go all the way to the edge, just about where I did for the other field. So like there. Let's do a little button hook around this way. That should get us pretty close to where I want it. And then down we go. Now we don't want to go all the way to that field because we have this little bit here. But I think I might try to swing this. Yeah, that'll work. I don't want it too fat down at this end. But it's okay if it's not perfectly square. I mean, it's a farm field. It's not something that would be surveyed and absolutely spot on perfect. Why doesn't that attach? Like, shouldn't that... That doesn't seem right to me. It seems like it should shore itself up. Like, yeah, like more like that. Why wasn't it doing that for me? Very weird. And this plow doesn't flip either. You just have to go with it. Okay, let's pick this up. I'm very confused why it's not snapping on. Does it disengage when you're in reverse, maybe? There we go. It's great when it's running, like when it's going straight. Just doesn't seem to love it. Missed a few spots, but yikes, missed quite a few over here. I'll have to tidy those up when we're all done. I think I need to overlap a little bit more than I've been doing here. But this won't add a ton of extra production to the farm, but I just felt like that field, I mean, this was the very first field that I put in the farm, so I didn't know. I was using a smaller plow for one thing, and I didn't know what I was doing yet. That's not to say that I know what I'm doing now, clearly. Sheesh. This thing is whipping all over the dang place. Well, we'll get the lion's share of it, and then we can come back through and pop the parts we missed, you know? So we won't need to cultivate that, but we'll be drilling probably in a couple months here. I want to spread lime on everything, but I haven't yet found an old-timey looking lime spreader yet. If anybody, I will probably have recorded the next episode by the time you guys see this, but even still, if anybody knows of an FS22 mod of a lime spreader that would be even remotely close to this late 80s, early 90s time period, that would be great. Really, some of these mods are like 60s. But that's the whole point. Like, this is a realistic farm. I think it's funny. I've been contemplating doing a more modern farm since the two that I have running on the channel are vintage. I've been like, oh, maybe I'll do a modern farm and run some modern equipment. But I don't know. It's just like there are a lot of people, even in real life, that are still running equipment like this because it gets the job done. It's mechanical, so as long as you can get parts to fix it, you can keep using it. And I never want to be political because we're all here to have fun and play a silly simulation game, but you know, you don't need to get the dealer to service these. There's no computer chip that prevents you from fixing your own dang equipment. And that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say on that topic. Should probably have saved that for the John Deere save, right? Oh, snap. See, right here. Can somebody explain this to me? Like, why? What does this thing do? Why doesn't that... I would guess that this arm, like, is what snaps it into place, but what do I need to do? Like, if I go here, does that click it into place? No, it doesn't. But when I come up here, so maybe when you're in reverse, it doesn't. I don't get it. That wasn't the plan. I can assure you. That's not what I was trying to do. So do I line it up here and then kind of bring it in on an angle? That doesn't seem half bad. I mean, mostly I'm just trying to keep this left wheel outside of the grass line. That's... Beyond that, I don't... So now it swung. Did you see that swing? It swung like 6 inches that time. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it over here. We want to come in from an angle. We'll get this wheel right here. Now down we go. And we'll keep the left wheel outside. Alright. I think we're learning. That's a little bit crooked because of my janky last pass, but this feels a little bit more like what we need to be doing. Now we'll get to the end. Boom. Pick it up. Turn. We'll go around. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, we made it. But that's too far. Maybe I should have chopped down the trees. Okay, here we come in from the angle. We'll keep this left wheel, and down we go. Left wheel outside. Left tractor tire staying a reasonable distance from the edge. Left wheel on the plow is staying outside the grass line. And we're down. Back up, come in from the angle. It's snapped into place, down we go. And upfield. Okay. Well, I missed the spot. Oh, I was getting cocky. I was so close. I was just about to say, well, now I figured that out. But here, we'll just do the kind of most redneck version possible here. Yeehaw. Don't pick your plow up. Just roll with it. This is like the get her done, got her dead style. Okay, here I am going to pick it up. So we can do this one. Well, I know we didn't finish the silage job, but I'm quite satisfied that we got one load in the silo and the other load ready to put in the silo. Pretty much got this field extended, just a little bit more work to do here. I think this is going to be it. I mean, I'm not going to sell the plow or anything, but this is going to be pretty much it. I don't plan on adding fields. I think for the size of equipment that we're running and the size of farm this is, something like 5 tractors and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fields seems right to me. You guys can tell me if you think I should be farming more ground, but it feels like plenty to keep up with what the farm, what the cattle need, and we can be selling extra crops like the soybeans and the sunflowers. If I didn't hate doing root crops so much, I would add pigs to this farm. But that goes back to what I was saying earlier with the different feed types. Really, to be fair, the pigs in FS, their primary crop is corn, so I'm going to have a whole ton of that on this save. Maybe I should do it. Alrighty, let's get this awful looking row over here squared away, and then I think we will call it an episode. I really appreciate if you are sticking around at this just about 38-minute mark. Then my hat is tipped to you, my friend. I appreciate the folks who are devoted to the series and have been supporting us. Our field is now extended, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching. I know I've enjoyed playing, and I will see you all in the next episode of the Case IH Dairy Farm here on FS22. Bye for now.